You're listening to Walk It Out with Trisha Goyer, where we discover what it looks like to follow God and be swept away on the journey of a lifetime. Author of over 70 books, mom of 10, yes, 10, homeschooler and speaker, Trisha Goyer will explore what radical obedience to God's Word looks like. It's time to hear from God lovers who've dared to say yes. Listen in to heart chats and learn how others overcame doubts and fears. Discover how God used ordinary people to impact others one step at a time. If you're ready to get radical, get going, and make a difference in this world, you're at the right place. Here's your host, prolific writer, world traveler, people lover, and mega nap taker, Trisha Goyer.
Hey friends, today on Walk It Out, we are talking about the book Confessions of a Proverbs 32 Woman with Kerri Pomarolli. Yes, I didn't say Proverbs 31. I said Proverbs 32 Women. Now, if you're anything like Kerri, who's an awesome comedian, we'll be introducing her in just a second, you've read Proverbs 31 and thought, who is this woman and what kind of magic unicorn Energizer bunny juice does she have on IV? And you thought the social media standards were hard to live up to? No, let's go back to the Bible. Proverbs 31 woman is the ultimate person to live up to. In this episode, Kerri and I talk about the Proverbs 32 women and those of us who are tired of trying and failing to live up to impossible standards. Now, we also talk about the importance of laughter, especially during this time that we're stuck at home. Now, Kerri is a writer, a comedian, a speaker, and the ultimate Proverbs 32 woman. She tours nationwide with clean comedy at top Christian and secular venues. She's been featured on The Tonight Show 29 times, as well as made appearances on Comedy Central, ABC, and more. She's known as Hollywood's favorite God girl, and she frequently shares about her faith while living in LA with her two daughters. Now, before I let her jump on, I also want to say that we have some shows that she's going to be doing from her home. And so we're going to have links over in the show notes. Be sure you check out those. But right now, I am welcoming my friend, Kerri Pomarolli.
Trisha, that was a very long intro. I was a little bit bored by it, but
Well, that is what your media person gave me to say. Okay, so how would you sum it up in like one sentence?
I would be like,
who
she's
is Kerri?
an actress, she's a supermodel wannabe, and sometimes she drives carpool and writes books and does comedy.
And sometimes. Okay, I have to say, following your Instagram is one of the funnest things, though.
Oh, you're so kind.
Because your girls are the sweetest and the cutest. Like,
They are still game to be exploited. Like, I know that they're going to get to an age. I laugh because I have celebrity friends that won't put their kids on Instagram, and they're like, "That's sacrilege." And I was like, "Oh, my kids are all about it. Like, I don't even care. I might get arrested. I put them on so much."
but they're adorable and they seem to be having fun.
Oh,
So
they're the product of two comedians. So, they're just
yeah.
kind of like, "Oh, are we taping?" Like, their whole life is they walk into a church and they look for the microphone and the stage. It's like, "Can you sit in the pew? Can you please sit down? It's not about you."
Oh, I love that so much. Okay, so the Proverbs 32 women. When I first saw this come, I think I got an email from you talking about it. I'm like, okay, yes, because I'm just starting here. I was a pretty good Proverbs 31 woman for a while, Kerri. Like, I had my 3 kids, I had my clean house, all my photo albums were like organized, my pantries with 5 shelves. I'm
You
not joking.
churned your own butter. I get it. I know. Very fun
And
vegetable.
then we did for homeschool. We like that was a
Oh
we
my
made
gosh.
homeschool pioneer butter. And then God's like, you are too full of yourself. Here are 7 more children.
Oh my
And
gosh.
now I'm like, I'm kissing the Proverbs 32 book. Like, I'm going to bed with it at night.
Trisha, I have a question for you.
Okay, I want to hear it.
How many kids do you have, and do you really know the number?
Okay. Well, I have 10 official, but then we have 2 bonus. So sometimes
Okay,
I'll say 10 and sometimes I'll say 12.
what's bonus mean? Like, that sounds delightful.
So the 4 girls that we adopted have an older sister that we didn't officially adopt, but if I'm buying Christmas presents and she calls me mom, then she's my kid.
So,
And then the bonus is a teen mom that I mentored that like she's at our house all the time. She helps take care of grandma and she's totally our kid too. So
So
Yeah.
I think you should basically assume that when you get old, somebody's going to send you on cruises and like take care of you in the old folks home, like one out of the 14.
We already picked the one.
Oh, you already know you need. Is that your Joseph and the Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat? Like you've got your Joseph picked out?
Our daughter Bella, let me just say, she's on it. Like she is so aware of everyone's needs. Like if grandma needs a tissue, she like can sense it from the other side of the room and she's like caring for her and she helps all the bigger girls. She's 12 now. Bella's 12. She helps all the bigger kids pack for vacation. Like she'll pack their whole bags.
Oh my
So
gosh.
we said when we get old, send us to Bella. Like she will take care of us.
And you got to get one that's going to be rich too. Like one that's going to like send you checks in the mail. They may not visit, but you need one that's like sends you guilt money because they don't
That's
come home
true.
for Christmas.
We
So you
we
got
got
to
to work
pick
on
that
that
one out
one.
too.
Okay, we'll work on that next.
Well, because my daughter wants to be a Supreme Court justice, and she's not kidding. Like, and I was like, well, at least you'll make money because your parents are comics. So I'm thinking we're gonna need some cash. I mean, it's kind of funny when you have different children with different strengths. Like, I have my alpha dog kid who gets an A- and cries. And then I have
Right.
my kid who bangs her head because she has a bucket on her head against a wall and she really likes lunch. And I call her my don't ask, don't tell kid because I don't want to ask the teacher what she did that way. And I don't want the teacher to tell me what she did. So at carpool, I don't even want to slow down. Like, I'm just like, get in the trunk, Ruby. Get in the trunk. I don't want to make eye contact with your teacher. And I'm trying to make it till June. Like, I'm already over it. You know what I
I
mean?
love that. But she's the best. So oh my goodness, she's just
But like,
awesome.
every kid is so different. I mean, homeschool is appealing because at least they would only get in trouble with me. Like when I put them in school, they're subjected to public scrutinization. And when I hear that she gave the teacher a thumbs down, and kind of like if you knew this teacher, I might give her a thumbs down. And then like she snuck into the boys' bathroom, and I was like, you know what? We shop at Target out here in LA. It's very confusing. It's not it's not her fault. Give her a break.
Oh
So,
my goodness.
anyway, I can't imagine, like, do you just call your kids, like, "Hey there?" Like, are you just like, "You?" Like, "What's up?"
Okay, this is the hard thing. Okay, so we had Corey, Leslie, and Nathan, and they're 30, 27, and 25. So I've been used to saying those names for 30 years. Like, so all the little kids get called the older kids' names. Like, I just call them. They just know that they're going to be called the older kids' names because I've been saying them so long. I forget the little kids' names. They haven't been around as long.
So, Trisha, this morning,
Uh huh.
I have to do your podcast. I'm so excited. I'm going to a prayer conference on spiritual warfare, and my daughter's preaching a sermon. And I spent the entire morning screaming at them at the top of my lungs because Lucy was supposed to pack lunches and she packed celery. Okay. She thought celery was the main course. And then I'm screaming at my child, "You don't know how to pack a napkin. You don't even know how to pack a napkin." And like she gives me this look like I'm Cruella de Vil, like almost like a single tear comes down her face. And
Oh
I'm
my
like,
goodness.
"Well, good luck on your sermon today, sweetie. It's going to be amazing. Don't let the devil win."
Oh my goodness.
Oh my
See,
gosh.
okay,
I'm like, and I'm going to a conference on spiritual warfare for your family. I was like, this is amazing. I am a pillar of leadership.
okay, but I am like we've been talking like 5 minutes. My cheeks are already hurting from laughing so
Oh,
hard.
I love you.
And it's okay.
Well,
Yeah.
that's the message of the whole. If you're going to ask me what is Proverbs 32 woman, it's this right here. It's just being so open, and you are too. I mean, just being so open with who we are
Mhm.
and not being so affected by the world standards and even the Christian world standards that we all need to be farm to table, crock pot making, no offense, but homeschooling, breastfeeding, like I did one of those two of those for a minute and a half. But I'm trying so hard to measure up to what the church says I need to be and the world says I need to be. And God's like, I never said any of that. Like I didn't even come close to those things. So that's all you, girl.
Yeah, and I think so many times, like I feel like I'm walking around with just this tenseness, and like I gotta get this right. Like I need to train these kids, and they need to be good disciples and followers of Christ, and I need to have the dinner and all. And it's just like I forget sometimes, like life is supposed to be full of joy. Like we're actually supposed to enjoy our kids, enjoy God, enjoy ourselves. Like, and I think so many times as we're looking at Proverbs 31 women or as these expectations, we just are so bound up. So I need to talk about that. Like, have you been to that place where you're like, I'm not getting any of this right? And how can you give us hope for when we're there?
Trisha, we need to stop comparing ourselves. Now, I was thinking that I don't compare myself to Hollywood too much because I know it's photoshopped and airbrushed. But I was reading a book by probably a mutual friend of ours, Lisa Turkers.
Hmm.
Do you know who
Yep.
she is? You've heard of her,
I have.
perhaps, maybe?
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, maybe a little bit. And she wrote a book on weight loss years ago, and she was talking about her honest, and I love Lisa because she's so vulnerable and honest. Well, instead of taking the lessons from the book and how her weight loss journey was, vulnerable and real and hard, all I can obsess about is how skinny she is right now and like how
Mm,
gorgeous she always looks. And I'm like, Kerri, she wrote a whole book about how hard it was. And now I'm all I can think about is, well, she jogs 5 miles and I really should be jogging 5 miles. I mean, I'm a Christian speaker too, and I need to be out there. And like, I'm like, Kerri, get off that hamster wheel that nobody put you on. Do you know what I mean?
right.
Like, get off the Instagram and the Facebook and the who's it and, looking at this person. And I don't feel called to have 12 children. Like, I don't want to compare myself to you because
I'll drop
God
them
might tell
off.
me,
Like, if you just want to try it for a
right.
couple days, I'd be
I
happy to
mean,
drop them off.
but I'm always like, how does Trisha do a podcast and how do they have time? And God's like, can you just get through today? Like, can
Mm,
you just get through today? Because the devil is out to kill, steal, and destroy our momentum, our joy, and most of all, our gratefulness. I think the devil wants to take away a grateful spirit so we live in a spirit of lack. And that's not from God. So my whole book would try to tackle different issues, not just for moms, for single women, for women of all walks of life, that we are not supposed to look at the season of life as a less than season. God did not intend us to live in a less than season. He intended us to live right in the moment. It's not about we have to have this abundant, perfect, joyful lifestyle every minute of the day. But I do believe if we go through these trials, we are supposed to learn from his word. And there is a lot to learn from the Proverbs 31 woman. And as you know, in my book, I reached out to her in heaven via
I
email.
love that.
And I was like, you're really stressing us out down here. And they asked me to write a devotional as well that would kind of dig into some of these topics. But I really hope that women, whether they're religious or married or single, can really just kind of dig into hot mess for Jesus. Like, that's my hashtag. I am a hot mess for Jesus every day of my life. If you were doing a video with me, you'd be like, Kerri looks a little bit homeless today. But you know what? That I got dressed. I got dressed. I feel like we won. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so
Okay. What I love.
that's
Okay.
kind of the yeah, thank you. That was the message.
What I love is okay, so the podcast is Walk It Out. And I think so many times we think like walking out what God wants us to is like going on the mission trip and, adopting kids, like the big things. And there are those moments where God has definitely, like, I felt him call me to something. But then I think what, especially devotional, which I love about that, is every day it's like facing up to ourselves, facing up to God's grace, and embracing like we are a mess because we need Jesus. Like, that's it. That's the main point of it all. That if we had our act together, we would not need God. Like, we could just handle this world on our own. And so that's what I love of the dailiness of like coming up, picking up your devotion, reading it every day, and like, okay, we're gonna be okay. It's okay if I'm a hot mess for Jesus because He loves me and He gives me the grace for today.
And I have been so overwhelmingly blessed by women sharing their stories with me. I'm sure you are too when you get that. And I'm like, oh my goodness, Lord, I wrote this crazy book about my ex boyfriends and my mother and my kids and all my deep, dark secrets. Like, don't you feel sometimes that you are just bearing your soul? And sometimes I'm like, oh, snap. Did I really put that out into the world? I mean,
Exactly,
like
exactly.
somebody's gonna sue me. Like I had a chapter that I wrote and it's called Mean Girls and it's in my book. It's one of the last chapters. And my editor at first was like, oh dang, like you need to like maybe sugarcoat this a little. They could come back because I had a huge rejection experience from a group of friends that were lifelong friends. But because of who I am and because of my faith and because of what I represent, even politically, I got mucho like eighth grade rejection as an
Mm,
adult. And I wrote about it. And so I did have to like, it was kind of funny. It's like taking fact and making it into fiction. I was like, and Sarah wore a red hat, and I'm like, okay, that's not. But I wanted to put that in there so much because I was like, this killed my soul. But I know that there's other women that are sitting there and they're 40 years old or 50 or 30 and they're feeling like a fourth grader who got kicked off the playground with the cool girls. You know what I mean? So I tried to write the book in a place of total honesty, but sometimes I was a little scared of like, oh shoot. But my publishers let me write it that way, and in the end I'm grateful.
Yeah, and I think that's where, because if we're not speaking truth to women, like then what hope do they have? Like if we're just given like all these easy answers, then they put down the book and it doesn't help them. But like even like when I was going through the Girls thing, I've had that experience within the Christian world. Like the,
Oh yeah. Oh
and
yeah.
it's like I'm like, wait, you believe that of me? Like I'm how could you believe that of me? Or, just all the things. And I'm like, this cannot be happening in the Christian world, but it does too. Like it doesn't, not just because of
Oh, girl.
differences. So, and I think that
And the
really,
more
like, we
success,
need to talk about that.
yeah, the more success you get, you're supposed to be built up by your brothers and sisters. But sometimes I feel like the enemy just uses people to tear us down and not let us enjoy the fruits that God. And the thing about your job and my job is it's only partially exposed to the world.
Friends, if your home is like mine, there might be a lot of emotions happening right now. And I have learned from going to therapy with my kids that one of the best ways for kids to deal with their emotions are to write it down. When they can even write down, I am upset or anxious or sad, it moves it from their emotional part of their brain to their thinking part of the brain, and it helps them so much. It really brings emotional stability. Even though they're having those hard emotions, it brings emotional stability to them. So I created for my own kids my stay home journals. Now, they are sweet journals with these fun, colorful covers. And really, the whole point is getting kids to write down their emotions. So it has a date, what's happening that day, and how they're feeling that day. Now, because I have kids that like many different animals, there are many different covers. There is turtle and fancy kitty. There's a goat, there's a narwhal, there's a llama, there's two corgi covers because I have a child who is obsessed with corgis. Now, you can find all of these in a link in the show notes, or just go to Amazon and put in Stay Home Journals Trisha Goyer. They'll pop up. You can see the whole series of 25 different stay home journals that you can use for your kids. They're full color inside. They really are something that you can keep as a keepsake. That's why I did them full color so kids can write at them. They could remember what's happening during this time. They could learn how to process their emotions. And because I'm a homeschooling mom, bonus, they are getting writing practice. So I hope you will enjoy the stay home journals. Again, just go to Amazon.com and put in Stay Home Journals Trisha Goyer, and you're going to have fun searching through all the covers and trying to pick out the best ones for your kids. Okay, Kerri, I love you so much because you make me laugh. Like, it is so awesome. And I need this with everything that is going on right now. I think I get so overwhelmed and I get so stressed, and then my kids get stressed, and no one's having fun. So, I mean, I think your book and your devotional is perfect for this time because we need to lighten up. But also, how can we do that within our own home with our kids so that we can actually make joyful memories right now instead of stressful memories right now?
Can I just tell you what I did last night that made me think of you?
Yes, please.
I
Please do that.
I made homemade split pea soup. And for,
You
yeah,
did?
and Trisha, you have to understand, like, I felt like the pioneer woman. When I make a meal for my kids, I feel like there should be an award ceremony because I'm not typically like don't you feel like during this time you've made 887 meals? Like it's
Yeah.
not. And so I made homemade, and I'm so glad for social media. I'm going to post so many pictures. I want people to tell me I'm amazing. I want people to be like, "You fed your children today. You're a winner." But here's the deal. This is what I've been telling everybody when they ask me, how to get through it. I have thrown caution to the wind before, but never ever like I have during this season. I mean,
Hmm.
if my kids want jelly beans, we're going to eat some jelly beans. If we're going to watch The Office from season 1 to 8 because that's what we just need to do in this time, I'm so okay with it. Yes, we're doing homeschool, and yes, I bow down to every homeschool mother. And maybe I'm cheating on their spelling test. I think their grades are going to get better with homeschool. But I think that we need to loosen the reins a lot. I know we talk about structure and routine, but kids want to look back on this time 20 years and be like, it wasn't like lockdown, it wasn't like orange is the new black. Like we actually had some fun. So bedtimes are a little later, wake ups are a
Hmm.
little later. It's just kind of like, what is your win today? They got dressed, they showered, they did some schoolwork, they ate some
They're
candy.
alive.
You
Like they're
win. You
alive.
win the day.
I think actually, I think this is the time that the Proverbs 32 women wins
Yes,
because
girl. Yes,
that's
yes,
what we
yes.
need. Because getting up early and tending to your cow,
Whatever.
all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but because when I did Calming Angry Kids, which is my book, I don't know, 3 books ago, something like that. I realize as I researched and talked to therapists when our kids' emotional brains are spiked, when they're emotional and worried and stressed, there's no learning that can go on. There's no relationship building that can go on. All they can do is live in that angry, stressful, anxious emotion. And so if we have the news on all the time, if everyone's just talking about all the horrible things, we're not going to have fun as a family. We're not going to connect. We're not going to communicate. But really, this time is like, I really feel it's a gift that God is saying,
I was just
stop
gonna say
all
that.
the
I,
stuff and spend time with your kids and laugh and have fun. So I think you are the perfect person to like, that's why I love the book and the devotional just to do this.
but I also think there's a powerful thing that every mother has to listen to me right now. I have a box of chocolate covered cherries hidden in my bedroom. And as soon as I eat the last one, I'm going to buy more. And it is a very powerful tool that sometimes you need to walk away and shut the door and eat chocolate by yourself and don't share. And I think like during this time when I've been quarantined with
Hmm.
my ex-husband, my kids, and my roommate, I have to take a break. I mean, I literally have said the words, "Mommy needs a break." And I go in my room and I eat some candy and I decompress. And I don't think parents are doing that enough right now intentionally.
Hmm. Right. Yeah. Go to your room, pick up the devotional, Proverbs 32,
Yeah,
laugh.
buy my book. It's on Amazon.com. It's half price.
Exactly.
Right.
We're all about this. We're all about promoting the book right now. But I totally agree.
Well, you know what? I think that my book is so off the wall that women are like emailing me during this time and they're like, "I can't believe you wrote a chapter about getting Botox and like all the things and how you just want to like run away from home." And so it's really been fun during this time, even more so people have laughed about things that I inappropriate things that Harvest House let me put in the book. So it's been and my devotion's great like cuz it's
Right.
short. I mean, how much time do you really have in the bathroom? You have 2 pages, you
Instead of
know?
scrolling Facebook as you're on the toilet, no, pick up the book.
Yeah, right. Well, it's just funny because I feel like we're so social media even more now. It's like
Hmm.
obsessed. And so, joking aside, I made soup and it's not good enough for my family that they eat the soup. I
Right.
need you uh and people that I adore to tell me I'm a good
Right.
person because it's like everybody's just starved for attention. I haven't seen my friends, I'm not cheating on the restrictions. So I
Right.
miss that real connection. So we're just doing nonsensical things like posting pictures of
It's
soup,
so
you
true.
know.
And I mean, I taught my girls how to cross stitch. Like I've
Yes, girl. Yeah, with the X's. Did
we're
you do
doing
the
the
little
X's,
X's?
and so I'm like,
Yes. Oh my
I feel
gosh,
like
I
we're
did
the
that.
old ladies. We're all sitting around on the couches and chairs.
Oh, girl, rug hooking. Now you got to move on to rug hooking, those
Yes.
plastic. Remember
Yeah.
rug hooking?
I need to get one of those kits. I was telling my daughter who lives in the Czech Republic that we were cross stitching because I had taught her when she was little, and she's like, "Mom, yeah, go get the rug hook things." I totally remember doing that
You are
too.
so you're so Ann Voskamp right now. You're like
No,
churning
I
your
have
own
not made
butter in
better.
2 seconds.
I've made Christy Teigen's banana bread like 3 times though.
I made Easter dinner and all it was carbohydrates on top of carbohydrates. Like I was like, "Would you like some rice and noodles with the potatoes that I just made with the potato chips?" I don't think there was a
Yeah.
vegetable within 5 miles of my Easter dinner.
But you know what? This is what we need. I mean, there's so much going on. We need to enjoy our kids, let them have fun, let them build memories, let them eat carbs and sugar, and it's okay.
You
It's
know what?
okay.
And you know what, Trisha? My kids don't participate in the worry
Hmm.
about corona, and I just think it's
Right.
because I haven't talked about it with them overtly. Why do we have to
Right.
stress them out? Like it's not like my kids are 8 and 12. They know what's going on, but they're happy. We jump around, there's YouTube video. We do
Oh
Dance,
yeah.
the video game, but I'm too cheap to buy it. So we just watch it on YouTube and do dance videos. But they're
Right.
not stressed
Yeah.
out about Corona because I'm not stressed out
Right.
in front of them. Do you know what I mean? They feel our
Yeah.
essence, what you just said. They really feel like our energy. And so that's why I think sometimes if you are stressed out or scared, go into your room, and kind of process that. But it's not healthy to process that in front of an
Right,
8-year-old.
exactly. And they are going to pick up what we're feeling, what we're doing, what we're experiencing. And I tell people, let your kids sleep in. You don't have to wake them up. Like they don't have to get their schoolwork done by noon. I mean, let them sleep in. Let them have that rest. Stay up and watch a movie. And then in the mornings when they're sleeping in, I'm spending time with my God, with my devotional books, with my journal,
Yep.
and I'm getting my heart right because there's a lot of change and there's a lot of
And
struggles, but we can get our heart right.
I also feel like it's never too late to
Mhm.
start something. I thought that when this all started, I was gonna, macrame and make homemade crockpot meals and do devotions every day with my kids, and like it just wasn't happening. But last week, I was like, "Look, we're week 5. We need to pull it together, girls." So I pulled out a devotional for the 3 of us, and I
Mhm.
just started it. Just to be completely honest, like the first month was a blur. We just moved, Trisha. We just moved like on March 6th. So it's never too late to start something intentional with your kids, whether that means, a simple devotional, a simple prayer, intentional time, not just before dinner. If you're listening out there, like today can be the day.
Yeah, exactly. And it's exactly what we need and it's exactly what our kids need and I'm like, okay, I need parents to know that we need to lighten up. Let me call up my friend Kerri because this is the one. This is the one. And I mean, going and finding YouTube videos with amazing comedians like the person I'm talking to right now. I mean,
I one of the things that I'm doing, Trisha, God gave me this idea is I'm doing virtual
oh my
comedy shows for
goodness.
people. Yeah, so I don't know when you're airing this, but at this point, through April and May, in the month of May and April, and we're using the proceeds to help first responders. So I have a show coming up next week, and 100% of the donations are going to go to first responders. Or I've got several scheduled, so it's a way to people to tune in. They're free shows on Facebook Live, and then we ask for donations if you want to give, but it's a live comedy show from my house. I have a
Oh
Barbie
my goodness. Okay,
microphone
yes.
and
So we're gonna get
like
this
we're
out
doing
there. This
it.
is
We're doing
our
I'm doing birthday parties, bar
you know how you
mitzvahs.
like slide chocolate under the door to someone who really needs it. We're gonna slide this
Yeah.
podcast out early, um, because people need it, and so
Uh
we will link to your free comedy shows because I know that's exactly what I need right now. I'm like, yes, please give me some Kerri.
and I did one the other day and I had this robe on and my roommate was like, "Don't you think you should get dressed up because that robe's a little revealing?" So she just threw a thing of duct tape at me, so I just taped up my chest so I didn't have. So they're not they're very behind the scenes. They're very behind the scenes comedy. And then I also did something because, we have to be creative. This is for all the working moms and dads out there listening. Like, I've never had to be as flexible with trying to change my
Mhm.
career, change my work. So there's a thing out there called Patreon, Patreon. I'll give you the link. And I joined it after doing comedy for 15 years. And it's like a fan club where people can
Yeah.
support your favorite artists for like $5, and they get free behind the scenes stuff, free tickets. So it's humbling in a way to have to go, okay, I'm going to change it up. But I'm sure you're
Oh,
hearing that
yeah.
a lot from people.
Yeah.
We have to be nimble during this
Yes.
time. So it's been fun and humbling to have somebody donate $5 to my ministry when I know that that is like fishes
Mm.
and loaves for them, has been just an incredible experience, to see the support that you really do make a difference
And
in
it
people's
really
lives.
is caring for each other in the ways that we can right now. Like, we can't go across town, or you're not going to be flying in my town to do a show. But I believe in you. I love your books. I love how you make me laugh and you just bring joy into my life. I'm like, okay, yes, I'm going to support Kerri right now. And, it's just, that's what we can do for each
But
other.
it's
Yeah.
so hard because we it's so hard to ask, because people may think of you may be listening out there and your friends think you have this successful business and you have it all together, but really, this might be a time where somebody's
Mm,
like wants
yeah.
to bless you. And I know what it's like to bless other people. I know what it's like to put food on the table for somebody. But for me to be humble enough to be like, I'm a single mom, I'm trying to put food on the table
Yeah.
for my girls, and every penny counts more than it ever has. So when my best friend from 8th grade signs up to give me $5, I'm like
Yeah.
in tears.
Oh,
I'm like, I mean, it's just been incredible. um, but I think we got to take that
yeah.
mask off, Trisha, all of us, you, me, everybody, and just be like, we're all trying to get through this together. And I think if this quarantine has sort of equaled the playing field,
It
don't
has.
you?
Oh, I was exactly thinking that today. Everyone's home. It's like those in Hollywood are in home. Those are in New York. Broadway stars are in
I
home.
mean,
Yeah,
Jimmy Kimmel does have a slide in his living room. I mean, I can't compete with
I
that,
know.
but
Oh, I love it so much. Well, I am so excited about what you're doing. We
thanks,
will
girl.
definitely put all the links down. And I'm telling you, get the book, get the devotional, Proverbs 32 Women. And this is what we need. And we need to love each other, support each other, and make each other laugh. But Kerri, thank you so much for being here today. And I will share on my social media too, because people just need to know. So
I'm gonna
I'm
keep Trisha, I've been posting inappropriate comedy memes on Instagram for the past month.
I
So
love
go
it.
to my Instagram page at Kerri Pom, and I keep posting Corona homeschool memes like almost every day.
I love it. Oh, this is perfect. Well, thank you so much, friend.
Thanks, girl.
I don't know about you, but talking to Kerri was exactly what I needed today. She is so fun, and I love when I just need to pick me up. I will go to her Facebook page, which is just her name, Kerri Pomarolli, and watch the videos. The videos that she does with her girls are some of my favorite. I love it so much. And then also her website is just Kerri Pom. That's Kerri Pom.com. And we're going to have information in the show notes at walkitoutpodcast.com with information about upcoming online shows that Kerri's going to be doing. And what I love is that part of the benefits or the proceeds of this will benefit first responders. So I love that she's really supporting people, making us laugh, really just sharing her gifts, which is craziness. That's basically Carrie's gift. It's crazy fun. And she's making us laugh and really bringing joy into what can be a difficult time. So the walk it out verse for today is Proverbs 17:22. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. And I think there can be so much right now that can dry up our bones if we listen to the news. There's so many people that have lost loved ones. And yes, we've had people that I know that have lost loved ones due to the virus, but just in everyday life, there's so many losses. There's cancer diagnosis, there's troubles with kids and kids that are dealing with being at home and college students that have had to leave and high school seniors that don't have their senior year and don't know about graduation. And so really I think I love this. A cheerful heart is good medicine. When we have a cheerful heart, it gets us laughing. It gets our outlook on life. We could kind of take put some humor into some of the hard stuff that's happening. And then when we have that, we can share it with other people. I love Kerri's book, The Proverbs 32 Women. Remember, there's a book and a devotional. Again, it's something that you can just keep by your bedside when you need a pick me up, laughter. I just love it so much. So let me just take a minute and pray for you. Lord, I thank you so much for Kerri and just the joy that she brings to us. I thank you, God, that you have just given her this fun personality that can just lift our spirits. And I know every time I talk to her, I just end up with the biggest smile. And when I get a text message from her, or when I see her on Instagram and just the quirky, fun stuff, it just brings so much joy. I pray that you will bless her ministry. I pray that you'll just bring people around to support her in amazing ways, Lord. And for all of us, I pray that you will just help bring joy into the hardship, that you will be with us during this time and help us to laugh and have fun. So, God, I thank you that you'll be with all of us. Now, friend, thank you so much for listening to Walk It Out. I hope you will be encouraged. And I love getting notes from you. I've had people from Instagram and Facebook tell me that you're listening. And if you do that, it just really brightens my day. Talk about bringing a smile. It really brightens my day. So let me know if you're listening. And you could also share this with a friend. Just point them to walkitoutpodcast.com, or you could just send the link to this interview with Kerri and post it on your Facebook and bring laughter to other people during this time. Thank you so much, friend.
Thanks for listening to Walk It Out. Head over to the show notes for this podcast and all past episodes at www.walkitoutpodcast.com. If you love the show, share it with someone you know who can make a radical difference in the world. We love new friends. See you next time.